There are 12,000 reptiles on the planet today, but only 100 of them are classified as marine reptiles. The living members of the marine reptiles are saltwater crocodiles, marine iguanas, sea snakes, and sea turtles. But during the Mesozoic era, marine reptiles used to be everywhere, and they were pretty big. But who is the biggest marine reptile? Here are 20 of the biggest marine reptiles. Number 20. Protostega. The late Cretaceous period was home to many marine reptiles. Some of them are on this list. One of these creatures is Protostega, a sea turtle that once swam around Kansas and Alabama and was around the size of a punch buggy car. The turtle was around 10 feet long and weighed up to 4,000 pounds. It is said that Protostega had an omnivorous diet, which could have eaten seaweed, crustaceans, and jellyfish, making it having a similar diet to modern-day sea turtles. Number 19. Mystriosuchus. Mystriosuchus belongs to a group of crocodile-like creatures called the phytosaurs, much like the famous Rudiodon. It was found in Germany and Italy. It lived in the Middle Triassic period and is possibly one of the few phytosaurs that prefer marine life over freshwater life. Unlike other phytosaurs, Mystriosuchus had shorter and paddle-like limbs, as well as two types of osteoderms, as opposed to the higher density of other phytosaurs. And with its gargoyle-like jaws, its diet couldn't consist of fish. It was around 13 feet long, and its name means spoon croc because, unlike other phytosaurs, Mystriosuchus didn't have a crest on its head. Number 18. Archelon. Now here's a well-known creature from the Cretaceous. Archelon was a giant turtle that swam with mosasaurs, gizzard sharks, plesiosaurs, and the bulldog fish. Now, if you think its shell would have protected Archelon from predators of its time, but in fact, it had a leather carapace, making it a close relative to the leatherback turtle, rather than the green sea turtle, as previously thought. The carapace could have only had 7 ridges that might have been peaking at 1 or 2 inches long, making it relatively defenseless against predators. Well, he's a goner. Thankfully, it had a plastron, aka the bottom part of the shell, which had a total of 54 spines in the bottom. So maybe not a total goner. Archelon was around 15 feet from head to tail, 13 feet long from flipper to flipper, and weighed up to 4,900 pounds. Number 17. Plesiosuchus. Long before crocs ruled the lakes and rivers, they sort of semi-ruled the oceans, but into 2 groups. One of these groups were the Metriorhynchids. These crocs were fully aquatic, with fins rather than legs. They lacked the osteoderms like modern crocs do, and they had a shark-like tail fluke. The biggest of these crocs is Plesiosuchus, which can be found in England, which shared the same waters with Dacosaurus. Plesiosuchus was known for being discovered by a skull in the 1600s and was mistaken to be a plesiosaur, hence how it got its name. Its prey was possibly ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, sharks, turtles, and probably other crocs. Plesiosuchus was around 22 feet long, and its weight is currently unknown at this time. Number 16. Nothosaurus. When this reptile was first discovered, it was thought to be a plesiosaur too, but it turns out it wasn't, and might be the ancestors to the pliosaurs. I say it might because it's not 100% confirmed. Anyway, unlike its possible descendants, and the animals they look similar to, Nothosaurus was more semi-aquatic, and rather had a similar lifestyle to seals, living on the land to rest and lay eggs. It was once thought Nothosaurus had webbed feet, but in actuality, it had paddle-like appendages instead that might have helped the Nothosaur swim better and to dig into the soft seabeds. Nothosaurus was originally to be 13 feet long, but there were some bigger species that were around 16 to 23 feet long and can weigh up to 150 to 200 pounds. Number 15. Thalattoarchon. Now, of all the marine reptiles on this list, Thalattoarchon is a special case, as he is the first marine reptile to be an apex predator. Thalattoarchon was a huge primitive ichthyosaur that once ruled the Triassic waters of Nevada. With its massive head and body, Thalattoarchon is said to tackle and eat prey that was similar to its own size, which could have been squid or other ichthyosaurs, almost like how modern-day orcas do. For its rule and ferocity, paleontologists named it Thalattoarchon saurophagus, which means the lizard-eating sovereign of the seas. Thalattoarchon was around 28 feet long, and its weight is currently unknown at this time. Number 14. Paleophis. Now, if you think prehistoric serpents couldn't be any scarier, well, you'd be wrong. Paleophis once lived in the same waters with the mosasaurs, gizzard sharks, and whatever swam in the oceans of the Cretaceous. But unlike those creatures, Paleophis was able to survive the KPG extinction event and had to compete with primitive whales like Basilosaurus. While it's not clear if Paleophis was venomous like his modern-day relatives, or semi-aquatic like them too, But we do know that the biggest species of paleofish, which was called Paleofish colossus, was around 29.5 feet long, but its weight is currently unknown. Number 13. Terminator. No, this is not a cyborg from the future, sent by an evil AI to kill or protect John Connor, or is played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. But this is a plesiosaur that once swam the waters of Saskatchewan during the Cretaceous. Like its other relatives, Terminator used its long neck to grab fish, and its needle-like teeth helped it to grab those small fish. Terminator name means last swimmer, because it was the youngest plesiosaur to be found, and the last one to exist before the KPG extinction event happened. Terminator was around 23 to 29 feet long, and its weight is also currently unknown too. Number 12. Machilosaurus rex. Now here's the other group of prehistoric crocodiles that I was talking about, that they also ruled the Mesozoic oceans. Machilosaurs belonged to a group called the Teleosaurids. Now, unlike the Metriorhynchids, the Teleosaurids were more like their living relatives, mainly the saltwater crocodiles, since they both lived in a marine environment. Machilosaurus was the biggest member of this group, and as you would expect, its diet contains fish, turtles, and dinosaurs. In Switzerland, a fossil of a sauropod named Cicetosauricus, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, had bite marks on its femur, and the culprit was none other than Machilosaurus. Did you know that it was named after well-ranked soldiers from Egypt who came to rise during power during the Potomac Dynasty? The biggest species of Machilosaurus was called Machilosaurus rex, which was found in the country of Tunisia in 2016, and it lived during the late Jurassic through the early Cretaceous period. It was around 22.6 feet through 31.5 feet long and weighed up to 6,000 pounds. Number 11. Styxosaurus. Here's another, but not the last plesiosaur on this list. Styxosaurus had the typical plesiosaur traits, like the long neck and the needle-like teeth to catch and eat fish, and it swam around Kansas when it was an ocean. Out of all the plesiosaurs, Styxosaurus was a close relative to Elastosaurus, which we'll get to shortly. Styxosaurus was named after the river Styx from Greek mythology, which, according to legends, was a pathway between the living world and the underworld. Styxosaurus was around 36 feet long and weighed up to 8,000 pounds. Number 10. Kronosaurus. This massive reptile is part of a group called the Pliosaurs, which is the first of many on this list. Kronosaurus once swam the waters of Australia and Colombia during the early Cretaceous period. During that time, it ate plesiosaurs, ichthyosaurs, sharks, turtles, and squids. Because of its massive size, Kronosaurus was named after the leader of Greek titans, Kronos, who was the father of Zeus and ate his own children to preserve his power. Father of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a big round of applause. Kronosaurus was around 30 to 36 feet long and weighed around 20,000 pounds. Number 9. The monster of Oramberry. Now here's another huge, yet mysterious pliosaur. What paleontologists do know about this monster is that it was found in Mexico, in Oramberry, Nuevo Leon, where it gets its name from. It lived during the early Cretaceous period and is a possible relative of Kronosaurus. That being said, this monster will remain mysterious until more studies has been found. The monster of Oramberry was around 38 to 41 feet long and weighed up to 28,000 through 34,000 pounds. Number 8. Pliosaurus rossicus. I hope I'm pronouncing that one right. Here is one of the last two pliosaurs that are on this list. This is only the second biggest species of Pliosaurus. Pliosaurus rossicus was a late Jurassic pliosaur that was found in the Volga River in Chuvashia, Russia. I hope I'm pronouncing that country right. By Soviet paleontologist Nestor Ivanich Novohilov. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I do apologize. When he found a large skull and chest in the river and named it after his country. Pliosaurus rossicus was around 37 through 42 feet long and weighed up to 38,000 pounds. Number 7. Predator X. Here's the other and last pliosaur for this list. Predator X is the most well-known pliosaur in the world. It was first discovered in 2006 by paleontologists who found some partial skeletons in the island of Spitsbergen, which is located in the Svalbard archipelago, and the research team began to recover the fossils in 2008. Predator X was a name given by the media. It wasn't officially named Pliosaurus funke in 2012, but I don't like the name, hence why I'm calling it Predator X. Predator X used 2 of its flippers to cruise around the waters, and all of its flippers to pursue its prey. It also had a brain that is similar to a great white shark. Predator X was around 33 to 43 feet long and weighed up to 23 through 37,000 pounds. Number 6. Tylosaurus. Here's not only one of the largest marine reptiles on the list, but also the most dangerous marine reptile. Tylosaurus swam in the waters of North America during the late Cretaceous. It belonged to a famous group called the Mosasaurus, and Tylosaurus was one of the largest members of the group. Tylosaurus nearly ate everything in the great interior seaway, like plesiosaurs, sharks, fish, turtles, seabirds, squids, ammonites, dinosaurs, and even other species of mosasaurs. Tylosaurus went through a lot of names when it was first discovered during the infamous Bone Wars, but its current name means knob lizard, and earned that name because of its long, elongated rostrum, which is different from other mosasaurs. Tylosaurus was around 45 feet long and weighed up to 33,000 to 44,000 pounds. Number 5. Elastosaurus. Here is the largest of the plesiosaurs that ever lived. Elastosaurus was found in Kansas after the end of the American Civil War by an army surgeon named Theophilus Hunter Turner and an army scout named William Comstock when they were exploring the Pierce Shale near Fort Wallace, and they found a fossil of a large reptile. Then paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope, aka the Tweedledum of paleontology, came to the site and named it Elastosaurus, which means fin-played reptile. Now here's an interesting fact. This is the only elastosaur fossil that's ever been found, and it unintentionally started the infamous Bone Wars. When Cope reconstructed the elastosaur, he constructed it wrong, and his arch rival, Uncle C. Marsh, aka Tweedledum of paleontology, called him out. Thanks to its 71 neck vertebrae, Elastosaurus was around 46 feet long and weighed up to 16 to 20,000 pounds. Number 4. Shonisaurus. Now, here's when the reptiles get bigger. Shonisaurus was first found near the Shoshone Mountains, which is in central Nevada, in 1920, where they found 37 of these fossils in an odd pattern. But we're not getting to that topic yet. These giant ichthyosaurs lived during the late Triassic and used to swim around the waters of Nevada. They lacked teeth, almost like a whale shark and a basking shark. But unlike those sharks, Shonisaurus ate fish and cephalopods. It would have killed them by using its long, massive jaws to crush the prey's organs. Shonisaurus was around 49 to 50 feet long and weighed up to 60,000 pounds. Number 3. Cymbospondylus. This marine reptile is a primitive ichthyosaur like Thalattoarchon, but it was slightly more advanced. Cymbospondylus was a subpredator of the Triassic waters of Nevada and Germany. Its diet consists of fish, cephalopods, ammonites, belemnites, and other marine reptiles. Unlike other ichthyosaurs, Cymbospondylus had 4 paddle-like limbs that acted as stabilizers and to slow down when swimming fast. Cymbospondylus was originally around 20 to 30 feet long and weighed up to 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. But in December 2021, a new species of Cymbospondylus was found in Nevada, and it was around 55 feet long and weighed up to 99,000 pounds. Number 2. Mosasaurus hoffmanni. Now here's the namesake, where the group gets its name from. The first fossil of Mosasaurus was found under a chalk quarry near the Mount St. Peter in the Netherlands, when a group of miners found a huge fragmented skull in 1764, and it was mistaken for a whale. In 1780, another skull was found in the same quarry. Then, a retired Dutch physician named Johan Leonard Hoffman and Dutch amateur geologist at the time, Petrus Kemper, came to check out the fossil, and they took the skull back to the city of Maastricht. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. When it was a hoarder city at the time. Unfortunately, the city was raided during the French Revolutionary War. Luckily, they managed to get some of the fossils back, while the French government refused to give the others back. Ever since then, Mosasaurus has also been found in North America by none other than Lewis and Clark during the famous expedition. When they met Patrick Gass, they found it in the black sulfur bluffs near Cedar Island, alongside the Missouri River, and mistaking it for a giant snake. The biggest species of Mosasaurus is Mosasaurus hoffmanni, which is around 56 feet long and weighed up to 40,000 pounds. Before we get to our number 1 creature, here are some honorable mentions. Mauisaurus is a huge plesiosaur from New Zealand and was named long before The Rock voiced a character in the Disney hit film. It's only known from a fragmented pelvis and flippers, but it is estimated to be around 66 feet long. Until more evidence is found, Mauisaurus is an honorable mention. Piscogaviles was a huge gharial that lived during the Miocene epoch and was found in Peru. Unfortunately, it is known by its massive skull, and the size is unknown at this time. Deinosuchus is a well-known giant croc from the Cretaceous. It is also known from living in lakes and rivers. There is some fossils found at some marine sites, but nothing has confirmed that Deinosuchus could have swam in the open oceans like a saltwater crocodile, hence the honorable mention. Aristonyctes is a huge plesiosaurus that was discovered in Antarctica, Chile, and Argentina. Unlike other plesiosaurs, Aristonyctes was more of a filter feeder, like modern whales, as the teeth were too short to grab fish. It was only known from remains of a partial skull, neck vertebrae, and partial limb bones. Aristonyctes was said to be around 20 to 22 feet long. Number 1. Shastasaurus. Now here is the blue whale of all marine reptiles. Shastasaurus is a huge, gigantic ichthyosaur that was first found in California, near Mount Shasta, hence where it got its name from. But this giant reptile has also been found in British Columbia and China. Shastasaurus likely ate the same prey as Shonisaurus, and odds are probably had the same hunting style as Shonisaurus. The biggest species of Shastasaurus which is Shastasaurus signicinus, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was around 69 feet long and weighed up to, and I kid you not, 150,000 pounds. In 2011, the Guinness World Records had Shastasaurus in their books as the largest marine reptiles. If Shastasaurus is good enough for the Guinness World Records, then it's good enough for me. So, congratulations to Shastasaurus for being the biggest marine reptiles.